Hey everybody, Dave Isaacs here, coming to you from my office on Music Row in Nashville, Tennessee. And I wanted to do more of an informal video today. I've been doing a lot of very specific lessons on very focused topics. And all of that stuff is very, very valuable. They're all just tools in your toolbox, right? But I wanted to address today the idea of getting stuck, because that's something that I hear from people over and over and over again. I've been teaching for a long time now. I've worked with a lot of students, from beginners to people who've played for many, many, many years. And the thing that I hear most often from people with years of playing experience is that they feel like they hit a wall. They reach a point where they feel like they're not getting any better. They don't really know what to do to get better. And maybe they've taken lessons, maybe they're still taking lessons, maybe they're working out of books, videos, any kind of resources that are out there. There's tons and tons of them. And I'm a big proponent of that. I don't think you can ever have too many books or watch too many videos or learn too many new songs. There's all kinds of specific things that we could talk about, and I'll get into that a little bit later. But the biggest single idea, what I think really happens, is when people get stuck, it's because they've stopped seeing possibilities. They've stopped seeing options. And in the course of working out these specific focused lessons that I've been talking about, I've been doing a lot of thinking about what it is that gets people stuck. And the idea came to me that the way we learn the guitar has something to do with that in the first place. It's almost inherent in the process. Guitar is a very visual instrument, right? Probably almost all of us, when we learned our first chords, we learned how to play shapes. So when you learned a D chord, you learned how to make this little triangle right here. And when you learned a C chord, you learned how to do this. And a G chord, how to do this or this. Details of it don't really matter all that much for the purpose of what I'm talking about. But the idea is you learned a sequence, a series of places to put your fingers, and considered it a shape, and you memorized that shape. And as you learn songs, and even as you play lead guitar and learn solos, you learn patterns. And all that gets into muscle memory. And it goes through these sort of what I'll call an alchemical process of translating from pure muscle memory to the ability to think of an idea and play it. Now that's really our goal. That's always our goal, is to be driven by musical ideas, not driven by what our fingers can do, right? But because we learn both chords and scales as physical sequences of movements, what I'm going to call boxes, you do reach a point where you've memorized a lot of boxes, but actually seeing the music in there can be kind of tricky. And so what I think you need to do, and this is really the big idea, is just to step away from the shapes for a little while. And in your thinking about what you're doing, decide that we're not putting boxes together one after another. We're just expressing musical ideas. And these boxes, these forms, these physical shapes on the fingerboard are just the raw materials that we're going to draw from. And I mean, just to give you a really simple example, and this is one of the video lessons that I recently did, if you take a bar chord like this and recognize that this is not just one sound but many sounds, and then just holding that 6-note form, I can do all this different stuff. Now that might seem really, really simple, but the fact is, it is that simple. All I did was take a single shape and then apply to that some musical ideas, not technical ideas, not physical movements, although obviously you have to make the physical movements to make the sounds, right? That's a given. But applying musical ideas of, number one, orchestrating, dividing the guitar up into low parts, middle parts, and high parts, using different textures, so single notes, two-note chords, three-note chords, six-note chord, four-note chord, and then dynamics, accenting some things, not accenting others, some things louder, some things softer. Arpeggiating is another texture. And essentially what all that serves to do is just add more music to your box, to your pattern, your physical pattern of fingers. It makes it musical because we're adding in ideas of tone, texture, rhythm, accent, and melody. And melody most importantly, because that's really what's driving what I'm doing here. Rhythm too. I mean, I shouldn't say that melody is more important than rhythm. It really depends on the role that the guitar is playing in a particular setting and the style of music that you're playing and all of that. But rhythm and melody are your fundamental elements. Add harmony to that. And then when you think about applying rhythmic ideas and melodic ideas to chords, to harmonic ideas, it just blows everything wide open. But you have to think of it in those terms instead of just thinking of, okay, what's another new box that I can learn? You can apply that box thinking to rhythm too. Someone might come in and say, I want to learn a new strum, when what they're really telling me is that their rhythm playing is in a box because everything they learned how to do was a series of motions. Down, down, up, down, up, down, up. Instead of recognizing that what you really need to do is just feel a rhythm and then just understand how to articulate it and how to vary it. It's, again, back to the big ideas, which are really very simple. And that's that music is made up of a few fundamental concepts. There's melody, there's rhythm, there's harmony. Rhythm and melody can be applied to harmony. And then there's dynamics and texture and tone. And when you think about all of those things, if you're stuck, then all you really need to do is start asking the question, is there something else I can do with this? Can I vary the rhythm? Can I vary the melody? Can I vary the tone? Anything at all. Just start asking questions, because then your musical mind starts leading the way. And suddenly, you're no longer trapped in the boxes. So please comment, please give me feedback on this, because really this is something that even as long as I've been teaching, my thoughts on this and my approach are always evolving. And I learn from all of you, hopefully, as much as you might learn from me, or the potential is there anyway for us to learn from each other. So please comment. I really do welcome your feedback and your thoughts on this idea. Definitely want to know if it makes sense, if it comes across. It's what I hear in one-on-one settings when I sit and do classes, but when you put it out like this to a large group of people, it's always interesting to hear the different opinions and the different ideas that people have. So please do comment. I really appreciate you watching the video and watching my other videos. Y'all have been great with keeping up with what I'm doing and very encouraging, and I'm glad that people seem to be getting something out of what I'm putting out here. That really makes me feel good. It's really gratifying. So thank you. Again, my name is Dave Isaacs. My website is www.nashvilleguitarguru.com. I teach here on Music Row in Nashville, Tennessee. I do Skype lessons, so we can do long-distance stuff if you like. Any number of things that we could work on, arranging, pre-production. But now I'm just getting into a service list, and we don't need to do that. This was supposed to be informal, and so let's keep it that way. Dave Isaacs signing off from Nashville. Thanks for watching.